A place said to have a character of its own is generally held in good favour, and may be defined by the fabric of the building, its age, and the influences of inhabitants past and present. Add that to the role of artifacts within, the like of fixtures and fittings, furniture, pictures, objets trouvés, and utensils in everyday use, and, should you have chosen to go there, it might be recalled as having been a good find, and well worth another visit. Yet had we lived in the 19th century, a second visit to what had been a popular lodging-house in the fishing village of Borussia on the south coast of England for over 100 years would never have come about. Following the eviction of a resident in October 1859, a curse on the building had marred its reputation overnight. Gone was the sense of the place being at peace with itself, and in came a period as intrusive to its character as it was to the residents, a guilt-ridden group, unnerved and unable to sleep. Even as the building was sold a year later, and enlarged into a hotel, to take its place among burgeoning developments, catering for an emerging moneyed class, yearning for holidays by the sea, the repetitive mumbo-jumbo, for which the curse was known, and which gave guests the willies, seemed to come from inside the walls, waxing and waning, as if in lockstep with the moon. Residents had demanded priests be called to exorcise the building. Yet in spite of their efforts, which continued throughout the remainder of Queen Victoria's reign, it was the guests' fascination with mumbo-jumbo, rather than fear of it, which came to turn the tables and diminish its menace. Come the 20th century, whereupon millennial optimism rated the curse stuff and nonsense, its power collapsed, and management promoted it as in-house amusement. Guests could cup an ear to, should rain rule out a picnic on the beach or stroll along the promenade. Today, if we take the stairs to the top floor of what has been the Orlando Hotel since 1861 and enter a corridor off the landing, we are confronted by a wall-mounted fire extinguisher which shows no visible evidence of use. Ahead of us is a bathroom and doors to bedrooms with a view over the prom to the sea. 2 floors below, guests still abed will doubtless be twitching their nostrils at an aroma of coffee rising from the kitchen, and in the adjacent dining room, early risers on a 2-night stay for the price of one are likely rubbing their hands in anticipation of breakfast. The full English may be, should agreement between them prevail. While at their table, a salt cellar, pepper pot, and sugar sifter will be resigned to servility and the monotony of waiting their turn to be grabbed, upended, and shaken silly over whatever arrives on a plate below them. Look to a wood-wormed Welsh dresser, commanding all aspects of the room, and taking pride of place on the middle shelf is a Toby jug, whose static grin, stockinged feet, buckled black shoes, and 3-cornered hat remind us of plump men, tankards in hand, holding court in alehouses in an age long gone. Walk through to reception, and we observe the landlady. She is glowering at an antique long-case clock, doing its best to chime. Thinking this none of our business, we proceed to the library, and there on the mantelpiece sits a stuffed parrot encased in a glass dome. Whatever the story behind it, the work displayed appears to be a finely executed example of an African grey, and is much to be admired. Imagine if these artifacts, all creations of man, come to know us, and like servants are listening in while submitting to our needs and demands. Alienated by years of thankless servitude, cackling complacency, bickering, nitpicking, and endless repetition of hand-me-down stories of the curse in the hotel's lodging-house days, they have, after decades of thankless servitude, developed a deep loathing for anything to do with humanity, not least of which are the landlady's daily dictates, hammering home her concern for the bottom line. the healthy balance of which the jobs of all who work for her depend. Worn out and sworn at by residents for malfunctioning, for which they are blameless, they are dreaming of rebellion. As different as chalk from cheese, what chance have they of agreeing a plan when up against humans whose assumed right to rule has been the status quo since the species first walked the earth? To whom then might the artifacts turn for help? Could events be stirred to come to their aid in some guise? And if it be true, those whom the gods wish to destroy, they first make mad, might inspiration come from them, and the landlady, her staff, and guests be humiliated in ways no one could have thought possible? You may think this a monstrous proposition. Yes, but if mankind is to be awakened to its arrogance, no small measures will do. And what better way to set the ball rolling than to return to the old lodging-house and connect with the curse, the shocking origins of which occurred in 1859, several years before the place became a hotel. Without further ado, let posterity's stagehands raise the curtain on the opening scene of a melodrama in Victorian England, as theatrical as any to unfold in that age when flickering candlelight still brought fear of the night to life. From there, we'll pick our way through an imbroglio of punitive events until we arrive in the 19th year of the 21st century, there to marvel at off-the-wall imaginings in a finale which questions the damnable mould from which we are cast, and hopes give rise to a new age of enlightenment long overdue.